11 accidental inventions that changed the world. Potato chips. In 1853, George Crumb, a chef in New York, accidentally invented potato chips when an annoying patron kept sending his French fried potatoes back to the kitchen because they were soggy. In an attempt to teach the customer a lesson, Crumb sliced them extra thin, fried them to a crisp, and drowned them in salt. To his surprise, however, the complaining customer actually liked what would become the very first serving of potato chips. Plastic. In the early 1900s, shellac was the material of choice when it came to insulation, but due to the fact that it was made from Southeast Asian beetles, the material was not cheap to import. For this reason, chemist Leo Hendrik Beekman thought he might be able to make some money by producing an alternative. What he came up with, however, was a moldable material that could be heated to extremely high temperatures without being distorted, also known as plastic. Coca-Cola. Although these days it's almost common knowledge, this list wouldn't be complete without Civil War veteran turned pharmacist John Pemberton, and what he originally intended as nothing more than a medication for several ailments, such as opiate addiction and upset stomach. Instead, he invented one of the world's most popular drinks. This is also why the original Coke actually did include cocaine on its list of ingredients. Penicillin. While studying Staphylococcus, microbiologist Alexander Fleming added some of the bacteria to Petri dishes before leaving for vacation. He had expected the bacteria to grow, but upon returning, he was surprised to find a mold growing in the dishes instead. A close inspection found that the mold released a byproduct which inhibited the growth of the staph, giving birth to the first antibiotic, penicillin. Microwave. Every reluctant cook should be grateful to Percy Spencer, a Navy radar specialist who was tinkering around with microwave emitters when he felt the chocolate bar in his pocket start to melt. The year was 1945, and the world, or rather the kitchen, hasn't been the same since. Radioactivity. In 1896, physicist Henry Becquerel was trying to get fluorescent materials to produce X-rays by leaving them in the sun. His experiment, however, suffered a week of cloudy, overcast skies. After leaving all of his materials in a drawer, he returned 1 week later to find that the uranium rock he had left there had managed to imprint its image on a nearby photographic plate without any exposure to light. Teflon. If you have ever cooked an omelette, you can thank Roy Plunkett, a chemist who worked for DuPont in the early 20th century, for accidentally stumbling across a non-reactive, no-stick chemical while experimenting with refrigerants. DuPont quickly patented it, and today we know it as Teflon, the coating on your pan that keeps your eggs from sticking. Vulcanized rubber. Charles Goodyear had spent ages trying to find a way to make rubber resistant to heat and cold. After a number of failed attempts, he finally stumbled across a mixture that worked. Before turning out the lights one evening, he accidentally spilled some rubber, sulfur, and lead onto a stove, resulting in a mixture that charred and hardened, but could still be used in shoes and tires. Post-it notes. In 1968, Spencer Silver, a chemist working for 3M, stumbled across a low-tack adhesive that he found was just strong enough to hold paper to a surface, but weak enough that it wouldn't tear upon removal. After many failed attempts at finding a marketable application, one of Silver's colleagues, Art Fry, realized that it would be perfect as a no-slip bookmark, and the post-it note was born. Cornflakes. Will Keith Kellogg began helping his brother, John, cook meals for patients at the sanitarium, at which he worked when he left some bread dough to sit out for several hours. Deciding to bake it anyway, the result birthed the first batch of cornflakes. Stainless steel. Next time you enjoy your dinner with a rust-free fork, remember to thank 20th century arms manufacturers for hiring Harry Brearley. An English metallurgist, Brearley was asked to develop a gun barrel that wouldn't rust. After testing his creation on various corrosives, such as lemon juice, he realized that it would be the perfect material for cutlery.